You know, you're still called Jesse the governor.
Yeah, there's some titles you don't lose.
Once you're the governor, you're always the governor,
Yeah,
right?
general, governor, president, I think you always have those titles.
Yeah, you do. The way it works is once the governor, you're always the governor, you're just not the current one.
Do you think there are some people, because you were in wrestling and you had an unorthodox background, you weren't a lawyer, do you think that some people don't want to call you governor anymore? In other words, they just want to wipe out the fact that you were governor, that that they disrespect you in a way?
Some do, yeah. They love to refer to me simply as Jesse, but unless it's a formal situation, I don't mind that.
You don't care?
I don't care.
You're not hung up on titles?
No.
You know,
but I might put it on my gravestone, though. You're entitled to do that.
I was just playing Blind Faith. Remember when?
Sure.
What kind of music are you into? You into any of this current stuff, or you don't care?
No.
The old stuff, right?
I'm a classic rock.
No kidding. Were you a Stones guy or a Beatles guy?
I'm a Stones guy.
You're a Stones guy.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Did you grow up kind of like I don't want to use the word shit kicker, but I mean, were you just this tough? I picture you as this tough guy. You didn't take any crap from anybody, and I could see you into the Stones, not the Beatles. You probably weren't into that peace stuff, but at the same point, I could imagine, because you were in the service during the Vietnam era, I think you probably appreciated all the protesters. Because
very much so.
Yeah, you wanted to you didn't want to go to Vietnam.
No, I did.
I know.
I volunteered because, and I went at a time that it wasn't popular because I was in high school. I didn't graduate till 1969, June of 69.
Right.
And, in fact, you'd love our class motto that they wouldn't let us have, Howard.
What was it?
Well, we all voted. You vote for a class motto. And, when it came out, they said, we can't. And here's what I still remember it today. Our class motto at Roosevelt High School in South Minneapolis. This was the winner. We had to vote on it.
Motto?
Sure they can.
So you could have easily become a hippie. Instead of a guy who was willing to go, go in the service, you could have easily been a draft dodger, maybe gone to Canada and done that whole scene.
No. Because of the background I came up in, I'm one of the few people on the planet whose father was a World War II veteran and whose mother was a World War II veteran. So, not too many people can say their mom was a World War II veteran.
Did your parents ever say to you, Jesse, this war, the Vietnam War, is wrong?
Yes.
And we don't want you going into. We served, but we want you to go to Canada. We don't want you to die in this war.
Well, they didn't tell me to go to Canada, but both my mother and father did not want my brother and I to go in. But and then it was funny because my father was in the Army. He had 7 Bronze Battle Stars in World War II in Europe. And his advice was, look, if you boys got to go in the service, he says, go in the out. Mm-hmm. Well, lo and behold, my father, which is probably worse than anything the Army or the Marines have when it comes to training and as far as the missions you do. By the way, you know my latest poem, Howard?
No.
Here it is. On the night that Jesus Christ supposedly rose from the dead, the Navy SEALs shot 3 pirates straight through the head.
Are you one of those guys, though, that, I mean, it sounds like your parents were making a lot of sense. They knew the horrors of war. They knew the Vietnam War was a waste of time. Your old man knew that.
My dad, I used to fight with him. I used to come home from school being taught in school the domino effect of communism and all this stuff.
Right.
And I would come home and verbally fight and spar with my father over the Vietnam War. And I was lucky enough that when I went there in 1971, my father was still alive. I was able to come home, shake his hand, and go, Dad, you were right, I was wrong.
Right.
And I got the ability to do that, which made me feel good, to tell him he was...
Number was going to come up and all that. And she said,
I was 273. I'd have never gone.
Wow. Yeah. Well, my mother said to me, she sat me down and she said, look, if this war's still going on, you're not serving. I want you to go to Canada. I don't want you to live here. I want you to get out because I can't, for the life of me, imagine after raising my son, wanting to go to this war, that it's going to end anyway. And it's going to end in a bloodbath.
With nothing having been accomplished.
And kind of like Iraq.
Yeah.
I never really got to consider that because by the time I was in the lottery, but by the time my number was called, it was already winding down.
Yeah.
But,
me too.
Yeah.
I'm 57. How old are you?
I'm 55.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, sure.
So, but the thing is, like, I remember my mother saying that to me. But I can't imagine going to Canada.
But aren't you too tall?
Do you think I am too? What, you're as tall as I am.
Oh, no. I'm only 6. I'm 6'4", now I'm 6'3", because you start shrinking as you get older. What were you at your top height?
I'm 6'5".
That's all? I always
That's
thought
it.
you were 6'7".
No, I'm saying, you mean 6'7" is too tall to hand-to-hand combat? I'm losing.
Do they
me
dismiss
too.
you if
I
you're a
don't do-
pussy?
Yeah, could you get a deferment if you're a pussy? I'm a pussy.
Yeah, well,
you're not.
sure.
I mean, come on, you're very manly.
You're rated P.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I look at you like your hands are like manly.
Wait. Remember
I look like a
something.
woman.
When I went through SEAL training, I'll give you a quick story. We were there, and one of my instructors, Terry Mother Moy, and there was a word that came after mother. So we refer to him as Terry Mother Moy. One day we asked him, we said, Mother Moy, when do we get hand-to-hand combat?
Right.
And you know what his response was?
What?
With a stoner machine gun, no one should ever get that close.
Well, you're right, but, I could imagine me fighting the Viet Cong, and this big, gawky guy comes by, and they're like, and some, little 5-foot, Vietnam guy beating the shit out of me. I mean, it just would be humiliating. I don't want that.
Oh, and by the way, let me tell you this, Howard. I have been waterboarded, and it is torture.
Hey, we were just talking about this.
Yeah, we
Artie
played
brought
the
up a
clip
good
from
point.
Larry King.
We were talking about a movie situation, but nevertheless, if your daughter was captured was kidnapped, and you knew there was a guy who was in on this thing.
Yeah.
You had him in your house.
Yeah.
You said to him, "Where's my daughter?" Because they're going to kill your daughter.
Yeah.
And he said, "Listen, asshole, I'm not telling you."
Yeah.
Wouldn't you torture that motherfucker till he gave you the information?
Probably, but the difference is...
The difference is...
So calm down, he's got something to say.
But the difference is this.
Right.
Anything he would tell you under torture has no credibility, because if you're being tortured, you're going to say whatever you feel the person wants you to say to stop the torture. That's why we don't allow it in a court of law.
Okay. We heard you on Larry King. We played it a few minutes sort of teasing what you were saying.
And you really made a lot of great points.
You made great points. You make
And
sense.
he's absolutely right, because police officers have used torture to extract confessions from defendants.
And they throw it out.
And they throw the
penis. And the guy goes, okay, your daughter's at such and such an address. You go out, you go to the address, it's not there. You come back and you drive a nail through his arm or something. I don't know what you do.
Meanwhile, your daughter's getting farther and farther away because you're getting this erroneous information.
exactly.
And
How
you're
are you going to get
wasting your
information?
time.
But you got to get some information from the son of a bitch.
Well, and maybe all he knows is that that's where she was. Maybe they moved her. How
And
do you
let me
know
say-
that he didn't,
And let me say this about
So torture doesn't work
that.
at all?
No.
Personally, Jesse Ventura can do anything he wants to do. But in the name of the United States, you can't do that.
It's against the law.
All right, let me ask you, let's be real. Here it is. We've just seen the World Trade Center go down.
Yep.
We get some guys who we really suspect are terrorists. I mean, we have suspicions.
Okay.
We get them in there, and we say to them, "Look, we need to know who was at the head of this thing. We need some information." Horrible thing, as you even point out. You can drown someone waterboarding them. It's
Sure.
not safe.
Yep.
You don't think some guy would maybe crack under that?
Maybe, but how do you know that, again, once you're torturing them, they're going to tell you what they think you want to hear, whether it's the truth or not.
Right.
Because and some of these guys, they waterboarded them 180 times.
Right.
And also, all of our soldiers in every war have been tortured by the enemy.
That's right.
Did we fall?
I would have.
And,
I would have cracked in 2
No, I'm
seconds.
not saying some of them didn't crack, but we didn't fall. It didn't do the other people any good.
and not only that, we should be above them.
That's true.
We should not stoop to if we stoop to their level, then we're no better than they are. And I do a lot of reading when I live in Mexico all winter, and I've read on Guantanamo, and I'm ashamed.
Right.
That's our Hanoi Hilton.
Right.
And we've had people die.
I mean, because he
was tortured.
I'm against torturing innocent people. Don't get me wrong.
You said on Larry King that your guys, who you were in the SEALs with, it was unnecessary for you to be waterboarded because you said, I don't know how serious you were,
I'm dead serious.
that you would never be tortured because you would go out in a blaze of glory.
Yep.
You would never be taken alive.
Nope.
You could not imagine a scenario where you would be taken alive.
Never.
Really?
Never. and we all have, there's an unwritten oath in the SEALs. We have never had one SEAL captured. We've had them die.
Right.
We've lost SEALs. We've never been captured, and we've never left a body behind, not even a dead body behind.
That's the truth. Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And in fact, a good friend of mine, in order to keep that we'd never have left a body behind, won the Congressional Medal of Honor doing that in Vietnam. A guy named Mike Thornton went through training with my brother.
How come you never...
And he actually was he saved the life of another